With the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
He would destroy you.
I think there's no doubt about it. This is the team to beat in the postseason.
The Duncan slam dunk. Look at that play. Down low, there's Tim. 11 seconds left. Backing in, turn, jump hook, good. Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan comes from the US Virgin Islands. The US Virgin Islands is a beautiful set of beautiful archipelago, and not much happens there. But the one sport they did have there was swimming. He wanted to be a swimmer. His sister was a swimmer, and she ended up going to the Olympics, albeit for the US Virgin Islands rather than anybody else. So why not do that?
Hurricane Hugo is a monster tonight. Today it grew rapidly from a Category 2 to a Category 4 hurricane. It now has winds of 135 miles an hour. That's very dangerous.
It gave the US Virgin Islands a hell of a battering. And at the end of it, there wasn't an Olympic-sized swimming pool left. So Tim Duncan had to give up on that dream. Wake Forest is an SEC college. He performed so well there. His size, his intellect, his demeanour meant that he was going to be a real catch for an NBA team.
With the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest University.
He's the king of the boards. He works those all the time. But he could also do three-pointers. He could do layups. He's a great defensive guard.
His job is to get the rebounds. His job is to be there and to make sure that other people can't approach the basket. He was somebody with that sort of demeanour, and the team that he joined, San Antonio, they already had one very good tall player, David Robinson. The two of them together were really unstoppable.
And the ultimate proof was the way Robinson entrusted Duncan with his own career-long role as the focus of the offense.
San Antonio actually established their dominance pretty quickly because Duncan and Robinson won their first title together in '99. That was only his second season in the NBA. After Robinson retired, the entire franchise came down on Duncan's shoulders, and yet they still kept winning. A lot of basketball involves getting in people's faces. It involves upsetting the dynamic of a team. Tim Duncan was never flustered. He was a calm person, and he was the calm centre around which the San Antonio Spurs revolved. First three titles that they won, Duncan was the MVP for those championship series. In 2003 was probably the season that the Spurs were at their peak, and Duncan was the person who led them. They finished the regular season with the best record, and then in the playoffs they finally saw off the Lakers. This time the Spurs overcame them, and then they had the Mavericks. I mean, it's a Texas derby. And Dallas had a wonderful player. They had Dirk Nowitzki, who was a great power forward. This is the man who, in the World Cup, Germany reached the final. I mean, Germany, thanks to one absolutely stellar player. But this time, the Mavs couldn't do it. This time, this was the Spurs' time.
The 2003 title's about to have an exclamation point next to it. The San Antonio Spurs are your world champions.
Your two-time consecutive NBA MVP is the most valuable player of the 2003 NBA Finals. Congratulations, Tim Duncan.
I think there's every chance you can regard Tim Duncan as the best power forward of all time because of his longevity and because of his demeanour. To do what a power forward does, you need a particular body type. You've got to be, coming up to 7 foot tall. You've got to have a huge amount of strength. You've got to get under that basket. You've got to be unflustered when the defence comes at you. He was great at all those things, but he's not unique at that. Where he's unique is, I think, that his attitude and his ability, I think, set him apart. And you can't be anything other than a major all-time great if you have the numbers that he has and you're at the top for as long as he was.
He's one of the greatest power forwards ever. And Sir Charles Barkley said when he saw him play, "I've just seen the future of the game," and it wears 21.